validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Sander. Welcome to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We have a very interesting Sunday night tonight. We actually touch base with I think it's Vino Cato wine. Supposedly they're supposed to be sending us so that we can tell you guys all about it. I know a lot of you like food and drinks, and I got a couple of images of it. I'm going to be doing some videos on that later this week, so you guys should see that coming up. And then we also have the Fit Chef meal plans. It's supposed to be coming out. We're going to be talking about that as well. So I'm probably going to do just a promo of what's to come for the upcoming month. Assuming that they continue with the promotion, I'll be putting their stuff together and sending it to you. That way you guys can know where to go to get some of the greatest things that This and That can come across, because we like to give you guys quality, we like to give you guys class, but we also like to give you guys an alternative to the norm. So instead of the regular same old, like this particular type of wine, it's actually pretty cool. They have ways where you can cook with it, you can season your foods with it, you can make seasonings with it. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with it. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it so that I can go ahead and promo it for you guys. As soon as that happens, I'll let you know. Now, there's another one that's supposed to be Dash Covery, and they're supposed to be providing. He said, bro got the Joker fit on. I give it to you. I give it to you because I said we was gonna do it every day. I give it to you. We said we're gonna do a little bit of a something for everybody that comes in. So fresh out the gate, we got Diddy jumping in. I think it's what, second or third time this week. And yeah, the outfit. Actually not Joker though. However, it is a good reference. Joker was and white, and the Riddler was green and black, and one of the Batmans was green and gold. Sky blue, white, and gold at all. So that one is the loudest one. As I was saying just a moment ago, he said he can't hear me over the intro music. No worries. As I was saying, actually, it's not a Joker outfit because the Joker outfit was actually purple and white. Never has Joker worn light blue, white, and gold. The Riddler had green and black. I think in one of the Batman movies, he actually did come up with green and gold, but it was all question marks, which is how he was able to identify the Riddler as the Riddler, because whatever suit he was wearing was covered in question marks. So it's just a man in a suit, or dress casual, since it's the blazer, the tie, and the button-down shirt, as opposed to actually the Joker. But good reference. I appreciate the compliment. But a Joker has never worn blue and gold. That's almost school spirit. Blue and gold. But appreciate you coming back to the show today. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come in. Hold on, guys. We've got that reference in the 2019 movie. The Joker had a slimmer fit for a lot of the beginning of the film. I never said he didn't have a slim fit suit. I said that he didn't have blue and gold on as his suit, because he did switch to slim fit from the regular traditional fit suits, but his suit was never blue and gold, and he's never worn just the blazers. Similar, not slim. Similar. Okay, well, I'll have to go back and check that out, because as far as I know, no, he did not have a similar fit to this one, because this is a plaid shirt, just about checkered shirt. It's blue and white, and then the tie is a blue and white, like a sky blue and white with the gold. So more than sure, but I could be wrong for the first time ever. I've never been wrong before. But we'll definitely cross-reference that, and then once we do, I'll bring it back onto the show tomorrow and let you guys know. I'll grab some images of today's outfit, and then grab some images of the 2019 Joker's outfit, and do like a side-by-side scenario and show you guys the difference between what I'm talking about and what you're referring to. However, again, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Now, today we are doing our Sunday night members onlys. That is open to the public, so anybody can come in. As I told you guys yesterday, we had some reckless behavior on social media, and I told you guys that I was going to clip some videos and show you guys what they look like, some of the recklessness that I came across, and we're going to be providing our 2 cents and our 9 tails on this. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe and mash those reaction buttons throughout the night, showing support for the channel, as well as sharing it with somebody who that can use some of this information, or somebody who might want to try to argue against it. I'm very good at debating. Very few people have ever been able to hold a candle to what I do, much less out debate me. You can only challenge my knowledge on something that I have not been made aware of, and then I can't really say anything about it because it's something that I'm not aware of. But once I go and do my research, I can definitely give you a very successful response. No man knows everything about everything. I know most things about the things that are relevant to me, and I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I know enough to get us through where we can make ourselves better as individuals with first person accountability and uniformity style decisions. Remember, guys, we are live 7 nights a week. We are supposed to kick this thing off at about 10 o'clock, but the Google browser seemed to have crashed again. We had multiple times the browser crashed, and then after the browser crashed, we couldn't get everything back loaded. So it took me almost a half hour to get us started today. It is what it is, but at least the internet didn't fail this time around. So pretty proud of that. Not going to stop me from calling the phone company and getting a $150 discount on a phone bill, but the fact that the internet is holding true and we're running at 1080 HD now, so it doesn't look like 1990s webcam. So we got some improvements going on in the show. Tomorrow, Monday, we're supposed to be talking about all of the things that Donald Trump is doing. He has referenced and spoken on the advancements of TikTok and the advancements of what's going on, Bayside? We're gonna try a lighter version because that one's been loud. Bayside in here. Get one less dramatic. Because that other one was pretty dramatic. I was like, wow. So back again. Bayside's coming in, and he's ready for what we're about to talk about today, because we're about to get in here and start discussing all of the recklessness that has been on social media as of late. And y'all might have seen some of these.
No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb.
This one is calmer than Elevation Protocol.
Standing on higher ground.
Can't wait for the clip though. Oh, hey, I'm about to run that clip right now. I was making sure that you got here before I started doing some of these clips, because I wanted you to be able to see some of the foolishness that we got going on, because I know you had a lot of opinions. That clip that you're waiting on, I got that in the lineup, but some of these other ones is going to build up to that one. So when we get to that one, we can just rip her a new one, because that was some ridiculousness that she didn't say it. So what we're saying. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we're going to be talking about all the recklessness that the president's got going on. He's talking about extending the ban on TikTok another 75 days, closing the deals, assuming that the contract is signed for sale. So if they have a pre-contract signature style scenario, then they should be working their way towards extending it another 75 days and keeping TikTok afloat. If for some reason that Beijing continues to be problematic, then we're going to have some issues. We're also going to be talking about how the layoffs are affecting unemployment. There is an unspecified quantity of unemployment compensation that is being paid out for the hundreds of thousands of people that's being fired this year from the government. So we're going to be talking about all of that and the other things that Trump has been doing over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, giving you guys an update as to how that is negatively impacting the economy for a positive outcome in the long run. So we're going to be piecing that together between today and tomorrow. And then I got to get set up for Tuesday and Wednesday. We have to pick our country of choice for Wednesday, as well as our advancements. I was going to do minerals, precious minerals tomorrow, but I was also thinking about talking about some subsidizable incomes where you can have a secondary income that can kind of boost your income. So I might do both of those at the same time for tomorrow. So just to give you guys a heads up as to what is going to be coming up. So let's start with the video, because I know you guys came specifically for these females and their ability to crash out on us. So let's go ahead and see if this is going to play for us the way we want it to play for us. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to minimize the screen, check that out, and then haha. Is the sound working on you guys? Oh my goodness. All right, hold on a second, guys. Hold on. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was going to happen. So, nevertheless, we have alternative copies of this exact same setup. So, yeah, no, I know exactly. I know exactly. I had to double check. I'm like, hold on, I did not hear a sound in the background here. So, we're going to do this a second time. Which one? This one. So let me go ahead and wait, did I stop it? All right, hold on a second.
Security, emotional
There we go.
support.
Hold on a second. Let me back that up a little bit.
Ladies, a selfish woman is always going to get exactly what she wants, okay? Because men don't expect women to be selfish. Growing up, we were taught we had to be selfless, that we had to give unconditional love, right? And men grow up being told that women are going to depend on them for everything: finances, stability, security, emotional support, safety, everything, right? So they know this. This is programmed in their thinking that a woman is going to depend on them. That's why they go out and they work hard and they, get their resources together so that they can, like at some point in their life, provide for that woman, right? This is how they are taught. They are taught to put themselves first. That's why a man will have fun with you and discard you, but he will not lose focus on his goals. He will never ever put his life on hold for a woman. When have you ever heard a man put his life on hold for a woman? They don't. They don't. You've never heard it because it doesn't exist. Men don't do that. They don't care. They are told to do what they need to do. They are told to get things in order. They are told that they have to go out and make somebody of themselves, right? Because they actually have to prove their worth in society. We don't. We are born with value. We're just born with value. Being a woman itself is so powerful and we hold so much value. Whereas with men, they actually have to prove their value in society. They have to bring some value in order to be respected, to be wanted, to be desired, right? So men know that. So they never ever let a woman get in their way. They never ever put their life on hold for a woman.
She
They
confused
never
as
ever
fuck.
sit there and go, you know what, everything's going really bad in my life, but you know what, I've got this woman and I'm going to cater to her and I'm going to pour into her. They never do that. But women do, because we're taught from a very young age that we have to give love to them. We're taught unconditional love. We're taught we have to endure pain. We're congratulated for enduring pain.
She
Make
took my
that make
slogan.
sense. Being able to be resilient. No. Selfish women get what they want in life. A selfish woman has a vision in life. She has a clear direction of where she's going, and she's not going to let anyone sway her. She's not going to let anyone sway her, of course. Selfish women get what they want because they pour into themselves, ladies. And the more you pour into yourself, the more the man is going to pour into you, because you signal to him that he is not the only person that matters in your world, that the world does not revolve around him. And men get a shock to the system when they learn that, because they don't expect that. They don't expect that from women. So when a woman is selfish and she puts herself first and she cares about herself, the man will care about you. If you pour into yourself, he will pour into you. The more you pour into yourself, the more he will pour into you. The more you love yourself, the more he will love you. The more you choose yourself, the more he's going to choose you. And then the other way around. The more you pour into him, the less he's going to pour into you. So, ladies, you need to fall in love with yourself. You need to fall in love with your future. You need to focus on becoming the highest version of yourself. Who is that high version of yourself? Who is she? What car does she drive? What clothes does she wear? What music does she listen to? Which restaurants does she go to? Where does she get her nails done? You have to focus on being your highest self. And your highest self is not going to have her world revolve around a man. Because ladies, men would never do that for you. And if there's one thing that we can learn from men, is how selfish they are. It's
Lord
okay
have
to be
mercy.
selfish, ladies. It's okay. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to put yourself first and say, you know what? I don't care about that man. Like, he's a grown-ass man. He can take care of himself. Because the more you pour into yourself and the more focused you are on yourself,
Thank you.
the more
Thank you,
he
Diddy.
is going to want to pour
You
into
got to it before I did.
The more he values you. Your
All right,
value
before I
goes
hold on a
instantly
second.
up.
Before I jump in on that next one, you said it. You said it before I could. Diddy. Diddy said she'd be a single cat lady in her 50s, wondering why she never found anyone who loved her. You not lying. Do you see the stupidity that we're dealing with right now? This chick came out of nowhere and swore up and down that men don't care about the women. The fact is that the more that a man cares about the woman, the more he's going to put into the woman. And it shocks the system that the woman doesn't give a damn about the man. No matter how much he does for her, she's not going to reciprocate. And he keeps thinking that if he does more and wait longer, that she might change and come around and start being the kind of woman that he wants, without her ever putting forth the effort to give a damn what he wants, to find out what she's got to do to make him happy. Then after a while, he starts feeling disappointed, depressed, and alone in a situation with a woman that's taking everything from him and giving nothing to him. This woman's got it ass backwards. The more selfish a woman is, the more the man is being used, because the man's pouring into the woman and the woman's pouring into herself. A valuable woman will pour into the man so that the man can build up enough for the man to pour more into the woman. A woman is only going to get from something that she puts in. She's going to get more out of what she puts in. You can't tell me that you're getting dividends from a stock you ain't never invested in. You got to put something in there. And you're going to get a percentage back of what you put in there. You can't say that it's just a system where the more you ignore him, the more he's going to give to you. No, men are not simps anymore. The guys who chase sex, that might work for them, because if you shut him off, then eventually he's going to start paying out so that he can get your attention. And then once you're satisfied with the luxurious lifestyle that he's providing you, you start sleeping with him again. But that's emotional abuse, because you are holding out on the intimacy that the person needs in order for you to hold on.
Where excellence is found, my potential knows no bounds.
Down, that's a little bit high, because I know that the difference between the audio and this is going to be way loud. But special shout out to Robson and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Special shout out to Brazil.
Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. That's my personal command.
But what I was saying was, the more that she invests in him, the more he'll invest in her. For her to tell herself and to tell other women, hey, be selfish, because a man is going to be selfish. Men are not selfish. Men are inconsiderate. Women are selfish. Women are selfish by design. They're selfish by self-motivation. They are not selfish. Men are not selfish intentionally. Men are inconsiderate. Men will figure you got it. He's not thinking you might need some help. Men might figure you don't need that, so he's not going to get that for you. Men might forget, with all of the priorities that he's got on his plate, he might forget what's important to you because he's trying to do what's important for us. You know what I'm saying? And that is why you're going to say he's selfish. You're going to say that he never puts his life on hold. From the first, I like you, from the first, can I take you out? His life is on hold, because all of the money he would have spent on building himself up, he's pouring it into impressing the woman. His life is on hold the whole time. He's in the dating phase, convincing you not to leave him so that he can take a third or 2/3 of his income and buy you an engagement ring. He could take half his income or two years worth of income and put it towards a wedding, which is putting his entire financial life on hold. When the man was taught from childhood, every man in his life, every adult in his life, most women in his life will say that a man has to be able to protect and provide. They have to be financially successful. They have to be, their value is based on how much money they got in their pocket. So when a man stops building his wealth so that he can entertain a woman, he has effectively put his life on hold. Because until he stops entertaining this woman, and I told you guys on a show last week and the week before last, that financially, a man is gaining 41% of his income back after he stops affiliating with this woman from the money that he was putting into her. So almost half of his income goes towards the relationship. If not 90% of his income goes towards the relationship. And when he stops paying for her bullshit, he gains 41% income. She loses 41% income. She's got to dip into her savings now because she was saving so much money because he was taking care of everything. When he stops taking care of everything, he can start saving up money and building up wealth. See, and that's one of the issues that we have, is that women believe that it is supposed to be that way, where a man is supposed to just fork out because a woman is valuable from birth. But ladies, y'all forget, it is an inverse system. A man is born with no value. A man spends 3/4 of his life gaining that value. A woman was born with all of her value. And as she gets older, her value depreciates. And the more body she gains in her body count, the quicker her value depreciates. Men progress in value like real estate. Women progress in value like cars. Because the older it is, the more valuable it is. When it's a house, the older it is, the lower the value is for a car. The more body she got, the more miles it's got, the lower the value. Doesn't matter how used the house is. The older the house is, it's still standing strong. It's still valuable. It increases in value. You find a house from 200 years ago that's still standing. It doesn't matter how many people lived and died in that house. That house is still worth hundreds of thousands of dollars when it was first built at $20,000 or $10,000. But you find a car that's 10 years old, $5,000. It was $20,000, $50,000 when it first came out, $5,000 now. Find something from 100 years ago. We're in 2025. Find a car from 1925. That car was sold at $3,000. If it's fully restored, it might be worth the money they put into it. That's it. Same thing with women. Your purity is part of your value. The lack of children is part of your value. Your ability to cooperate and participate in a man's agenda is part of your value. The longer you date, the more bodies you collect, the more children you drop, the lower your value gets, because specifically, you're going to become more and more selfish. You're going to become more and more self-loathing. You're going to become more and more focused on your own agenda, sacrificing the man that you have while you're making it his responsibility to take your responsibility. And when I say your responsibility, it's all of your finances and the 3 to 5 kids that you have from the 3 to 5 other men that you were dating before him. But this woman is saying, focus on your car, which means nothing to a man. Focus on your eyelashes, which means nothing to a man. Focus on your nails, which means nothing to a man. Because that's what men want. That's not what men want. You could get rid of all of that stuff and prioritize your dude and be more successful in your relationship. Now, Bayside said young men have to be selfish to get where they need to be. Then, as they mature, become very selfless when he's taking care of someone he loves or a family he's responsible for, period. I got to agree with you. But I also believe that men are not, I still believe that men are not as selfish as people think. Men might be so focused on the grind that they are inconsiderate and they forget to prioritize other people's wants and needs, because my success defines who I am. And if I don't become successful because I'm catering to your success, then I will never be defined, or I will be undefined, or I will be undervalued, because half of what I got going on is going into you. And then we ain't even dating. We friends. These women got dudes in a friend zone using them like that. We're going to get to that lady. I got her in the lineup. We got women in the friend zone using the men like their husbands. And the entire time that the male best friend is helping you with bills you can't afford to pay, babysitting your kid for free, feeding your kid, buying your kid stuff, getting them school clothes, all this, that, and the other. That is the issue. He said, now I want coffee. I was just thinking about it. I got to take care of a couple things. And then after that, I'm going to be bringing in some of the this and that products so that I can have them on the show so that y'all can see what they look like. Because I keep forgetting to throw them into the drop down where they're supposed to be more often than not at the bottom of the screen or somewhere on the screen. Some of the products that we sell for the channel that actually pretty good stuff. Aprons, hats, hoodies, shirts for the ladies, necklaces, stuff for the babies, stuff for the dogs, throw pillows. I encourage the throw pillows specific. And actually the throw pillows are pretty cheap, but I encourage the throw pillows because anybody in a relationship, if you've got these throw pillows all over the house, women throw stuff. And this is fucked up. Men cannot throw nothing at a woman. That's called assault, domestic violence. But women can throw stuff at a man on a regular basis, knock his ass out with something heavy. So to protect ourselves, since the law doesn't protect us against domestic violence, the law does not protect men from domestic violence. You shield yourself because she doesn't care what she's throwing at you. She doesn't necessarily want to hurt you. She just wants to hit you from afar. So if you put throw pillows all over the place, she will throw the pillow at you. It'll hit you. She will be satisfied that she hit you with something, but the pillow won't hurt. That's why I say you got the throw pillow. Because we're apparently dealing with violent and overly aggressive women, and the women don't want to admit that. But, that's what we deal with these days. And since that's what we deal with, and I'm going to show you, matter of fact, because I should have put it in the show. I didn't. Wait, hold on. Let me grab. Because I think I can add it. I don't know, because the show went live. I might be able to add it, and then you'll see. Nope, don't want to do that. It's like turn two-step verification on. No, I don't want to turn on two-step verification. What it's saying, turn on two-step verification to protect account regardless of YouTube studio. I gotta hear it. They didn't did some stupid stuff on that page over there. Let me go to the other page and see if it's gonna do it twice, because the page had crashed. That's what caused me to start the show. Yep, twice. It had two-step verification. There it is. Now verifying, create, unlock. Got to unlock the whole thing. All right. Done. Good. Now, let me go ahead and get back to my thing so that we can go ahead and show you guys what we're talking about. So let me go to the show, because it should be showing live. Yeah, it's showing live. There it is. Got to go to the live, and I'm going to throw it in there because right here, which also means, interestingly enough, once I save this, it should update on the screen, which means y'all going to get some pop-ups. So this is, that's dope. They got new hoodies. What? All right, we're gonna have to start looking at some of these. They got some new hoodies up in there, so I'm gonna throw that in there. This is the one for the chicks that's got a figure. This is the shirt for the fellas. We've got one for the big girls. We got the hoodie, and then the regular t-shirt, the sweater for the person that's depressed, fanny pack for the bicycler, throw pillow. There we go. Throw pillow. So I'm gonna put those 10 items in there, and that means now it should be on your screen. It should be on your screen. That way you guys can take a look at that, because yeah, definitely. At least if you're watching us from YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But if you're watching us from TikTok, you're probably not going to be able to, or where else? Let's see here. Twitch is not going to see it, and Twitter is also not going to see it. But if you're watching me from YouTube, it should have just come across your screen somewhere in there that I may have to refresh the page, and then it'll be there. So it is there though. We got some throw pillows in there, and apparently they got some new hoodies. So I'm probably gonna have to grab me some of them. They got the fleece ones with the fur in it and everything. It looks dope. But oh, you see it? Okay, he said I like the pink hoodie for women. Oh, of course, exactly. They've got the teal blue one, and then so for dudes do teal and pink, or teal and blue, and girls do the pink. But ironically, back in I think the 90s, the 1920s, 1930s, men used to wear that. Used to wear the pink because pink used to be red until the red faded into pink, and then they called it salmon. Women used to wear the blue, and the blue, dark blue, until the blue turned to light blue because it faded with them washing it. But color domination changed, and everybody started making pink for girls and blue for boys. But historically, pink was a faded red, and that was a man's color, and blue was for girls, and the light blue was for girls. So so I'll wear either one. I don't give a fuck. They can't tell me nothing. You catch me without a hoodie on, you're gonna be more shocked that I didn't come with a suit on than you're gonna be with the hoodie. With the fact that it's pink, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's wearing pink." They're like, "Oh no, Xander took off his suit. What happened?" It's one of those things. But yeah, it's crazy the way these women are going ham, thinking that if you ignore your man and mistreat your man, he'll do more for you. But these young bloods have to recognize that being selfish is gonna have to become a dominant factor in your expectations, because otherwise you're going to be allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, which is crazy. But we got a few of these, so I want you to listen to some more of these, because these females be going nuts.
Buys you dinner, you do not owe him your body or really anything afterwards. I saw a video the other day of a guy who said that a woman who lets a man pay for her meals automatically gives away her freedom. The notion that a man putting his credit card down at dinner automatically puts me in a proverbial jail is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Because if a man thinks he owns you after buying a meal for you, that is not a man that lives in the 21st century. That is a man that thinks that the law of coverture from the Middle Ages still apply, and that women are property once they marry. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again, women aren't property anymore. They have careers, they own property, and they're smart enough to realize that you can have a man pay for your dinner and still make more money than him. Because it's not about the money, it's about the gesture. And a man who has a problem paying for the first few dates is going to have a problem later down the line being gracious about anything, because he's always going to be afraid you're taking advantage of him. So he's going to spin the narrative that the only way you retain your freedom as a woman is if the relationship is split exactly 50-50 down the middle, when in reality he's unable to bear your children. So where's the fairness in that? Ladies, I hope you remember that wanting a man to be chivalrous does not make you any less of a strong, independent woman. It just makes you a woman who realizes that a strong, independent man making his own paper is not going to have time or energy to give a rat's behind about what paying for your dinner may or may not mean.
Now, that woman was left field. Oh, I should have showed you the video. I'll show you the video, the next one. This was a video of the girl. She was putting on her makeup, and see, I had started the video and I forgot to end solo mode. That's what she looks like. She was putting on her makeup while she's doing this rant, and I should have showed you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go back a little bit so that y'all can see the bustedness. Hold on. I don't want to go that far back. I don't want to go that far forward. I told y'all we got a few of them in here. All right, so let's go a little bit further. Yeah. So I'm gonna turn the sound on so y'all can see what's going on. I want y'all to see this. So you notice the lack of perfection in this face now. So as she's telling you about how men should pay for everything, look at that's like $50. The other one was $45. The other one over there was $30. Notice the little mole she's got right there by her lip, that she's going to cover that up real quick with some of this rouge that she's got going on. So she's covering up all of her imperfections. She had to put extra time into doing her hair. It took her 3 takes to get this done. This is an all afternoon scenario before she can do her mic drop and walk out trying to say that a man should not pay attention to a woman, what or the woman using the man for his money. The truth of the matter is, and what women don't understand, is that women's liberation fought for more responsibility. They didn't fight for the freedom of responsibility. The woman's responsibility to cater to the household and cater to the man is still the woman's responsibility in a relationship. The only difference is now the women have earned the right and fought for the right to get out there and be self-sufficient, in addition to the fact that their man is the breadwinner, or supposedly the breadwinner. So in a scenario where you're dating a dude and he's covering a check, he's supposed to, well, he's not supposed to, not these days. Back in the day when the women felt like they were property, he was supposed to pay for her because she had no money. So he would pay to court her so that he could find out if this is the one that he wants. And then after he paid to court her, then he would turn around and he would pay the dowry to the family, or, you know, it's a dowry now, or it was a dowry back then, to marry and do the arranged marriage thing. Then she would stay with him. And the only way that they would divorce is if he defaulted on his responsibilities in the marriage, which means that at some point the man would either mistreat her or abandon the marriage, where he was missing for over a year, where he had abandoned the marriage, and that would constitute the divorce. But because the woman didn't have an income back then, he was entitled to pay her that alimony. And if she had children, he was also supposed to pay her even more child support. Right now, that is where that statement comes from. I see your comment. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. But the thing is that modern times, she's like, oh, women got their careers and this, that, and the third. They got their own houses, their own cars. She's right. That means, ladies, you are supposed to be taking the man out to dinner, because the responsibility of the authority in this situation is that you compensate for the minority. The leader of the pack covers the whole pack. Jesus took care of his 40. The 40 didn't take care of Jesus. He broke bread with everybody else. Everybody else didn't break bread with him. So at the end of the day, ladies, y'all are independent. Y'all are leaders. Y'all are supposed to be out there trying to make it do what it do. Now that y'all are self-sufficient, well, the ones that are self-sufficient, you are the ones that are supposed to be out there catering to the man, taking him out for the first 2 or 3 dates so that he could take you out for the next 2 or 3 dates. If you take him out, if y'all did every other date, and I told y'all this before, go on 4 dates, you pay for 2, you don't pay for 2 out of the 4 dates. And the way it works is, she could pay for the first date, he could pay for the second date, you could do a third date for free, a fourth date for free, and you could do every other. She could pay for the if the man paid for the first date, the second date's free, the woman pays for the third date, fourth date's free. You still, both people only paid for 1 out of 3 dates, 1 out of 4 dates. And that is more responsible, because you're supposed to be spending more time trying to find out if you want the other person, not how much can he afford to pay for me. A man is supposed to be trying to figure out if this woman is going to aid me in my success, not will she put out. The agendas have been skewed and the misdirection has been laid out, which confuses the parties. So now the women believe that, oh, it should still be the man's responsibility to pay for the woman on the first date on the sole basis that she's a woman, not because she's valuable to that man. From the first date, I have your first name if I'm lucky, your social media contact if I'm lucky. I do not have your real name, your full government name. I can't Google you. I can't do a background check on you. I can't do anything other than trust what you're telling me in the moment. In the moment, I am supposed to pick up a stranger, take them to a restaurant, not catch a case in the process, because you know that while she's with you, if something goes south, she can call the police, your ass going to jail. And then I've got to pay for the entire night entertaining you. Now, out of that dynamic, what the fuck are you doing to show me that you are valuable to me? I am showing you that I am entertaining. I am showing you that I am catering. But what are you showing the man at while you're being entertained? Because what value does she have waiting for the man to open the door? What value does she have waiting for the man to grab the front door or pull out the chair or cut your food up for you? What value is the woman showing when the man is holding up the umbrella, keeping her from falling, keeping her from getting her feet wet? What value is the woman showing the man for the man to be doing all of this husband behavior, from the I think you're attractive to I'll catch the bill? So these women are crooked. Now, real quick, before I go into the next couple comments, because my boy jumped in and Mezer. He says, I feel empowered, shaking up are shacking up with 30 men. Am I right? Feminism, bro. he said she feels empowered because she's shacking up with 30 men. Bro, that's how they acting right now. These females is making it seem like they can have 100 body count, like you catching mushrooms in Super Mario Brothers. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is y'all thinking.
That's my personal command.
What they don't understand, and then you right. You said flesh only goes so far. You are right. Flesh only goes so far. But these women are sitting over here thinking that, oh, they can sleep with 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 men, 200, 1,000 men, and oh, they're valuable. They're valuable. They're not valuable. They were valuable when they were 18-year-old virgins that would follow instructions. They're not valuable when they're 2,000 body count, selfish, inconsiderate, and they have flaws that they don't want to fix, but they expect the man to accept her for her brokenness with all of this emotional baggage. And she's not willing to change for the betterment of the relationship. All of that is supposed to be going down with the relationship. And I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. That is, and that's feminism. That's true feminism. I'm like, no, that's reckless, because what she's expecting from him, she's supposed to be able to do. Women are gauging the value of men, and then they're meeting that expectation. So if she wants a successful man, she'll make herself successful. She wants a generous man, she'll waste a bunch of money on herself. Then she's going to set the par and say, he's got to do more than I can do for myself. But the problem with that dynamic is, if you set yourself up to be a 9 as a man, you want a man to beat that, but then you don't know how to be a woman. What the fuck? So what am I getting out of the deal besides dating another dude? Like that's the part that got me thrown off. So then when men say, well, I want a feminine woman, and they say, oh, y'all are incels because y'all don't know what a feminine woman look like. No, y'all might not remember what feminine women look like, but men in their 40s and 50s remember what feminine women look like. And when we get to that point, they're going to be like, oh, that's deep, because I got one up here that y'all are going to be looking at. And as y'all look at, I'm going to make sure y'all see that one, because I made a mistake the first time, but I'm going to make sure y'all see the rest of them. And when y'all look at that video, the ladies, y'all going to see why a man tell y'all that y'all need a longer dress, a looser dress. Y'all need to change y'all outfit. While you might look good, you need to look different. We're going to be pointing out that in one of these videos. You're going to be like, damn. And that's exactly why, because we predict what we think could go wrong with this decision, and then we refresh and try to not idolize, but remind you of the consequences of what you're about to do. Women don't care because they're supposed to be so free, but that's not always beneficial to women. They just don't understand that yet. Bayside said 2 times, it's your choice to have 30 men's DNA in you. But see, then again, like the one woman first said, that your value happens when you're born, but you're pure when you're born. Once you're tainted, you're no longer valuable. You're less valuable, right? And the more tainted you become, the lower your value is. With 30 different dudes' DNA inside of you, how can I guarantee that the child is going to be 99.999% mine? You might have enough DNA in you where that bitch might be 87% mine. There might be a 13% possibility that motherfucker belong to somebody else anyway, especially if you smash that dude before you smash me. There was a woman that gave twins to 2 different men. No cap. Legit. Same egg, 2 different sperms, split, twins. So the twin boys, if I remember correctly, had different dads. It was, and it wasn't a situation where they was all in it at the same time. It was just so close together that the eggs got fertilized in the same timeline, and all of it manifested together. That's crazy. And then when we start talking about getting DNA tests at birth, I'll pay that $250. Look at that. Look. As soon as I said that, he's like, paternity court. Bet, bro. Like, real, this is how they found out. It was on the news because they couldn't believe that it happened. And the fact of the matter is that I don't care if I'm the only man you with. I don't care if I know where you are 100% of the time. I don't care if you are in my line of sight, even when I'm not asleep. When that baby come out, I'm going to pay the extra money to make sure that it's mine. I don't care. Women can say, oh, that, you know, that's wrong, this, that, and the third. It's about as wrong as you going through my cell phone to make sure that I'm not cheating on you. The fact is that I need to be sure that's my kid before I invest emotional anything into this child. I don't care about the finances. I can adopt a child that's not mine, and I know that it's not mine, and I can take care of that child voluntarily. But I should not be tricked into believing that it's my child because I was there when the child was born, and now I'm financially responsible for it because legally, when you sign the birth certificate, you adopted the child, even if it ain't yours. Before I sign that birth certificate, I need to know that it's mine. I need to make the conscious choice that even if it's not mine, I still want it. Not because of you, because of the child. Because a child is a different entity than the mother, which is another argument that women have about the abortions. We don't care if I said the other day, I said, instead of y'all doing all this abortion crap, why don't y'all take like 30, 40 of your eggs, go put them up somewhere, freeze them, and then get a hysterectomy so that you can't get pregnant. Then you don't got a problem. Then when you were ready to have kids, you could take some of your eggs, you can sell some to pay for the ones that you keep, and you take the ones that you keep and you use them to go and drop you some kids. Get you a surrogate. That way, when you're ready to have kids at 40 years old, the surrogate can carry the child, drop the child out, and now you got a baby. You 40 and your husband 64, and y'all got a child with his DNA. You can still, there's ways around it, but the women want to have the abortion. The problem that men have is that life that has already been created, you are going to kill it because you don't want to be responsible. When a man is like, look, I'll take care of that one. That one's mine. I'll take care of that one. And this is a different mindset from men than back in the 90s and the 80s, where men were like, that ain't my baby, even if it was. Murray had like 30 seasons of a DNA test. Jerry Springer has so many chaotic scenarios where the men were denying their responsibility. You have 2 or 3 generations right now from 2000 to 2024 where all the men are saying, bro, if I think it's mine, I am willing to take care of it. I'll get 2 jobs, 4 jobs. I'll do something to take care of this kid. So why terminate the kid? Why not just give it? Give birth to the child, give it to the daddy. Get the C-section and give it to the daddy, because you're going to get that anyway. Look at them C-class strippers with the surgical scar up underneath their stomach covered up with a tattoo and stuff. Y'all be over there at them strip clubs and stuff over there in them gentlemen's clubs and stuff with the on the weekdays with the less attractive women. And they got you can see the surgical scars underneath the fake breasts and everything like that. Look, I'll tell you, if you can do it to work in the industry, why can't you do it and get a man a child? It makes no sense. Tamirs said all that feminism and Eastern spiritual freedom is a trap. I'm not going to say that it's Eastern spiritual freedom. I think because the Eastern women are obedient and respectful, and they worship the men that take good care of them. I can't say I'm not going to put that on them Eastern women. The Eastern women have yet to he said, oh no, they won't do that. Oh yeah, they're not gonna do right. They're not gonna put them eggs up for sale and be responsible. They're gonna throw it back and then accidentally get pregnant because the man forgot to pull out, or she wasn't ready for him to pull out, because you got the women when they're enjoying themselves, they pull you in and wrap their legs around you. You ain't saying nothing, so when you finish, you just didn't say nothing, and then you get up and then all of a sudden you got a kid involved. The pullout game works like 60% of the time because there's always a possibility there. Tamir said, freedom ain't opening your legs. Tell me about it. To experience that ain't what it is. I understand some Eastern religions and beliefs, but it isn't pleasure and sex. It's the Western culture that is corrupt, not the Eastern culture. The Eastern culture has a lot more domestic violence where the men are slapping the women around like property. We're talking about having Eastern women be treated better by the Western men, where the Western men are not going to be abusing the women as much as they used to be doing back in the day. And the Eastern women are going to be respecting the men the way the Western women don't do. That's what we're talking about. He said, I'm talking about the 60s and 70s spiritual stuff. Oh, yeah, that was that bullshit. You talk about Woodstock era. And we saw in the U.S. During the time where it was sex and drugs. Yeah, you talk about Woodstock era. Exactly. The West twisted the Eastern philosophy. Oh, okay, that's what happened. I was trying to figure out what happened because, like, I remember that Beavis and Butthead did America, and after that, like, everybody was bouncing off the walls. Not all the children got ADHD. If they don't got ADD, they got ADHD. I'm just like trying to figure out, how did that happen? How did an entire 3 generations of children all have attention deficit disorder, and then they've got TikTok capitalizing on that, so now it's going to exacerbate the children's short attention span because they can't stick to something more than 15 seconds, and if they stick to it for more than 16 seconds, it's going to stop in 60 seconds and switch to something else. It's crazy. Oh, but we got more. We got some wise words from men.
Women today are so gosh darn selfish that this is why so many women get angry when you ask, what do you bring to the table? And their answer is, bring to the table? I'm not bringing anything to the table because I'm not going to allow you to use me. That's why that question infuriates women right off the rip. They don't want to be used. They want to use you. You are supposed to make their lives easier. And if you don't give them a life of upper middle class or lower upper class luxury, you don't matter. This is why you hear so many women saying, I can do better all by myself. Meaning, why should I work a 40-hour-week job with a husband? Why should I be paying rent with a husband? Why should I be doing any of this stuff? But yet, you work harder. Single women work harder than other women because you do everything by yourself. You just don't recognize it until it's too late.
Nah, that was some wise words right there. Women don't want to hear that. So while we sitting over here talking, we trying to figure out, like, hold on now. Because they can grind on their own. They can get theirs on their own, the same way a man can get his. And women can do it a lot better because the affirmative action that has been dismantled as far as racial discrimination has not dismantled gender discrimination. Therefore, a woman will get promoted just because they need a certain quantity of women in upper management. And the higher up that there is a missing spot for a woman, the higher up that woman will get promoted, as long as she doesn't ruin her reputation in the company. But because all of the men are competing against all of the other men, that man might have to be at that job 10, 20, 50 years to get there, where all she's got to do is just be there when the last woman quits or gets fired or takes maternity leave, and she gets that position. And some women who go on maternity leave, which is the reason why women don't like getting pregnant, some women that go on maternity leave never go back to work. So after that 12 weeks off, because America is one of those countries where they don't give you a bunch of paid time off. They might give you your PTO days, your sick days. They'll allow you 12 weeks of unemployment where you can still get your job position back if you come back to work within 12 weeks, but they're not paying you to stay home. In Asia, they paying you to stay home for 12 months. So you can take care of yourself and take care of the kid and everything like that. And the child will be 1 year old before you go back to work, if you go back to work. And in Asia, they pay for the husband to stay home too, so that it's not too much stress on the wife, for the wife to take care of the child by herself. They could take turns taking care of the child. And by the time the child is 1 year old, the husband and the wife has figured out a way for them to either alternate jobs and go to work, or get a babysitter or something to that effect. And most of the time they get a babysitter or a nanny or something like that, and the children grow up without their parents because their parents is both working full-time jobs. We not doing that out here. Basically, I said, like KS said, they don't realize until it's too late. You're right. But the funny thing is that just like you said, I think you said it yesterday. No, Diddy said it yesterday. Look, I was thinking about it and then I forgot it. But Diddy said yesterday something about Diddy said yesterday that a woman increases her expectations on the next man based on what she didn't get from the last man. And that's the most twisted scenario that I have experienced, because I'm like, wait, you're setting the bar so high for me because I'm not the first man to try this challenge, but I should be the last man to complete the challenge. So why are you giving me the gauntlet? Why am I number one in the Royal Rumble so that I could be the last man, but you're going to try the other 30 men before me? That make no sense. And then I gotta outdo 30 other men's failures so that I can stay champ. That make no sense. But then at the same time, she's not gonna up her game and say, "Oh, I got a champion. Let me be the queen status behavior that a champion would need. Let me be a prize wife that a trophy husband would need." They're not thinking about that. That's where I keep saying women are selfish and men are inconsiderate, because we don't think about certain things. They don't care about certain things. They know about it and they're trying to avoid the responsibility of it. And that's a huge dynamic shift. Timir says, that's my gripe about extreme capitalism we have in the United States. Oh, yeah, they ain't paying us for shit in the United States. The Social Security disability is about to take a hit. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. The veterans is doing better, but they stopped allowing those gender changes being paid for by VA benefits, which means that there's going to be more money able to be given to the VA individuals due to inflation. But you also have to understand that they're giving the VA individuals enough capital for them to live a lower income Section 8 lifestyle where they're single, living in a 1-bedroom efficiency so that they can survive. They've done away with the Medicaid and Medicare. That's privatized now, so you got to pay for that out of your Social Security disability benefits instead of getting the free health insurance because you're elderly. And then they've done away with second-tier loans, so you can't get a master's degree on the government dollar no more. You're only going to you got to get private loans. Donald Trump said you're going to have to get SBA loans in order to get that. So there's so many things that has changed where the government ain't paying for shit, but you still got to pay taxes from what they say, even though it's supposed to be a voluntary tax system. Bayside said exactly. They treat it as if it's almost like a application for a job, but tailor it to their needs. But it is a job application. But see, what society has forgotten in America, who's applying for what position? Because the employer pays the workers. The workers don't pay the employer. So who's applying for a job? The man is the one that's paying for everything. The man is expected to pay for everything. So why is the man paying for the job of being a provider? All logic dictates that because the man is paying the woman, she's working for the man in the relationship. The same way she works for her 9-to-5 boss at the job. She's applying to be a wife. He's not applying to be a husband. He's a husband by nature. She's got to learn how to be a wife, because don't no woman teach no other woman how to be a wife. All the women teach all the women how to be single, independent, and stand alone. They have to learn how to be a wife. They have to be trained how to be a wife. That's the dating phase. Teaching you what I need you to do to be my partner. And if you qualify for that, that's when I'm supposed to invite you to marriage. A man isn't supposed to invite a woman to marriage because she demands it. She's going to protest it and stop giving you the things that you need under the guise that if you marry her that she will give you the things that you're entitled to. She's supposed to give you the things that you're entitled to before you marry her, so that if in the event that you marry her, she will keep doing that. I say this time and time again. Marrying a woman is not hitting a Pikachu with a moonstone, bro. She's not going to evolve into a wife once you put the ring on her finger. She is still going to be the same trashy woman that you picked up at the club that threw it back in the bathroom. That's going to be the same woman that's going down the aisle with you that might have slept with your best man in the coat closet right before the ceremony. The woman that you got before you married her is the woman that you got after you married her. The ring on her finger, that is symbolism. That doesn't change nothing. I see your other two comments. I'm gonna go back to them. I said that is symbolism. That don't change your mentality. You don't need a $200,000 wedding to get married. You could just get to, because the marriage in the legal system is a financial contract between two entities. That's what it is. Two businesses merging together is what a marriage is, tax-wise. It ain't got nothing to do with under the eyes of the Lord when y'all are filling out the paperwork at the justice of the peace with the courthouse. So if you just trying to, in the sake of your religion, trying to get married for the sake of getting married, you are getting married under the eyes of the Lord, which means that it has nothing to do with his income. So the $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 marriage that you are putting your cash down on, that is to entertain her so that she can show off for her friends and family that her man got money. $100,000 dress, $50,000 venue, $75,000 reception hall, where all of her broke friends and family can show up and eat for free and drink for free and dance in this free venue when you couldn't even dance in a nightclub for free when she was shaking her ass on another dude until he went to go buy her drinks and you swooped in and got the number. Why the hell are we wasting our money on this shit? Let me go back upward to come to these comments because I don't want to skip nobody. I see you, Strider. I got you coming up soon. He said, bro, what do you think about the replacement theory? Oh, shit. He said, you'll own nothing and be happy. Okay, so I got no words on a replacement theory right now today because I got to go back and look into some details about the replacement theory because I'm thinking about Donald Trump talking about replacing history right now, bringing it back to the way it was. But enlighten me on that replacement theory so that I can give you some information about that. He said, it ain't not happily ever after, not always, at least. It's never going to be happily ever after because when you marry a female that is selfish from the beginning of the marriage, it's not going to be happily ever after. It's going to be that happy wife, happy life scenario where if she's happy, she's not making you miserable. But if she's not happy, she's making you miserable. But if she's happy, that doesn't mean that you're happy. That just means that you don't have extra stress on your plate because she's not happy. At no point in happy wife, happy life does the woman make sure that the man's happy. But unhappy wife, your life will definitely be hell because as long as she's not satisfied, she will make sure that you do not have an inkling of satisfaction in your marriage or your daily life. And that is a terrible scenario to be in. But you knew what kind of woman you was getting with because when you was dating her and she was hitting on you and you was laughing it off, you was taking that abuse. Now that y'all married and she hitting you upside the head with skillets and throwing hot grease on your ass, you sitting over here wondering what you did, screaming down low and singing confessions. And all I could tell you is that I told you before you got with her that you should have same girl and left her ass there. You remind me and not get involved with that. You feel me? Now, real quick, Strider walked in a minute ago. I want to get that man some love. Special shout out to Strider. He said, hey, it's the guy with the fancy weed whacker. Quick question for you. If you only had one nuke pass, one end pass left, would you choose to scream it at the top of your lungs and a library or at a pro football game? Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm gonna say that again. Let's see if I can make this make sense real quick. He said, if you only had one end pass left, would you choose to scream it at the top of your lungs at a library or at a pro football game? um okay. I had to sit there and think about that. One N-word pass. Okay. Well, first of all, we're not supposed to be using the N-word on a regular basis. The fact is that it was originally designed to identify individuals, not as a derogatory term. We've turned it into something derogatory during slavery, and now everybody's keeping it alive as a slang term. But it's still derogatory in its nature. So it actually brings down your value as well as the value of the person that you're saying it about, because they're going to act inappropriately when you say it. So everybody involved in a conversation when the N-word is being used is being depreciated in their value, and men should not devalue themselves, and they should not devalue their network. So it's not a good idea for you to utilize the N-word, even if there should not be an N-word pass. There shouldn't be a pass at all. The word should die and fall out of the English language so that nobody remembers what that word means and where it came from. The same way they're trying to do away with the racism with taking down the Confederate monuments from the war. They should be taking the N-word out of the English language, and everybody should be teaching everybody else not to use that word because it doesn't exist anymore. It should fade away in history. But because individuals are trying to be cool and are using the N-word, it really only shows the level of the class, and it really shows low class, because upscaled individuals will call you something other than the N-word to make sure that you understand that they have no respect for you without saying something derogatory or defamatory about you. So think about that. So would I intentionally? No, I wouldn't. Maybe if I got angry enough in the right hostile situation, one or two N-words might slide out. I'm not going to say that I'll never say it, because I grew up in a culture where it was being said. But I, to the best of my ability, make it a point not to ever say it at all to anyone, regardless of what they look like and regardless of what they did, because it's not appropriate for me to do. And I would expect people not to do it around me. So I do it. I make it a point not to do it, so that I can hold myself accountable to not do it, thereby allowing me to hold my peers accountable to not do it in my presence. It's just like quitting smoking. If I'm not going to smoke, then I expect all the people around me to smoke, or I expect them not to smoke. Likewise, I can't say that you guys can't smoke in my presence if I'm smoking. So if I'm going to lead by example and I'm not going to do it, then that means the people around me are not going to do it either, because they've never seen me do it. They've never heard from somebody else that I've done it. Therefore, when I say don't do that in my presence, everybody else can co-sign on that and say, yeah, he don't get down like that. I've never seen it, never heard it. When it does happen, oh, that's out of character because he's never done that before. But that's a shout out to Satellite. Mr. Satellite in here for the 36th time. He's diving in tonight. Greatly appreciate Mr. Satellite for coming in again. We're rocking out to Higher Ground. Yo, this coffee is dope, bro. I mix my coffee with hot chocolate, put a little bit of whipped cream in it. It's almost like a cappuccino, a mocha flavored cappuccino. It's like one of the ones that you can get from. It's like one of the ones you can get from McDonald's, just without the burnt coffee. T. Mazer said that's the sad thing is about marriage is more about the feds than the Lord these days, and that's true. The weirdest thing about it is that the country controls too much stuff in comparison to the ideology that we're supposed to be free. Because we have to fill out paperwork and pay a fine so that we can get the tax deductions of being joint. Now, the funny thing about being joint is that they're not giving you 200% deduction. They're only giving you 150%. So if you are supposed to pay $1,000 in taxes, you're supposed to pay $1,500 in taxes because you're married. The only benefit that you get out of that situation is that you can claim your wife as a dependent because you're head of household. Now, since you're claiming her as a dependent with your head of household, she can claim taxes, but she has to also claim that she's a dependent because you are head of household. That way, her deductions are going to be less. Your deductions are going to be more. She's not going to be paying as much because you're paying for more stuff. But if you guys were working together, she would be investing her capital into your scenario so that you can put that capital into a higher profit margin situation that gets more deductions. And if you guys were working together as a family, you guys would be building a business that you guys can both benefit from, because a partnership allows you guys to use an LLC where you both can individually do taxes on the same LLC, claim your financial contributions towards the LLC versus the deductions that you get off of your W-2s, and y'all both can benefit off of an LLC. But unfortunately, nobody does that. But all the wealthy people do it. All the LLC companies sell the stuff because it's a thing. It's a thing. It does work. I've done it. My homeboy done it. I did a partnership with him. I'm like, we can make this stuff work. But these people don't pay attention to that. Tweemeasure says, or drive us deeper into a worse culture. Oh yeah, it's going to put us in a terrible culture. We're going to be in the kind of culture that's going to make us regret where things are going. But it's going to be too late then. You might as well just launch the nuke at the situation by the time it gets to that point. Strata said, well, if the end pass was given to you out of love, there is no love and affection. And saying it was actually being respectful to the person that give it to you, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, because the end pass is not going to be given to you out of love, because the N word is not going to be used in a loving fashion. There is no scenario where the N word can be used in a loving fashion, because it was historically an identifier and then it became derogatory. It's equivalent to saying, oh, it's okay for you to call me boy, or it's okay for you to call women bitches and hoes. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The N word cannot be utilized as a form of affection. It's not okay. Low class people do that. Low class people pass that word around and then pass the pass around for the usage of that word, because it's a rite of passage to be in this low valued group, to be allowed to say the N word with everybody else in that group. And he said, kind of like how you would take a bite out of your neighbor's cookie, even though you know that they're nasty, kind of a mutual respect type of thing. There's no mutual respect in there, bro. So maybe we should both say it together out of respect for the pass I was given. Nah, that's all right. You're good. He said, I think you missed. I might have. I think you missed the previous comment. I might have, because you had some comments in there. I was going between y'all. Well, you said the sad thing about marriage is it's more actually about the feds than the Lord these days, or drive us deeper into a worse culture. So I kind of picked up on that, because I'm bouncing around between y'all's comments, making sure y'all all get the same respect that y'all are entitled to. But I believe that I got the concept of, unless you have a comment that I missed because of the verbiage that YouTube didn't allow to pop up here, unless that happened, those two comments came back to back for you. And I believe that your message is that it's less about the religious consummation of a union and more about a political and governmental established order, which is a culture that has less morals and ethics. If I understood your statement correctly. And if I did understand your statement correctly, then yeah, you're right. It is becoming more and more reckless. It is becoming way reckless. Real quick, though, let's dive into the next one, because I know that you guys are going to love the next one that's coming up here.
I don't need a man, Steve. What happens to when the woman tell you I don't need a man, Steve?
Okay, if you don't, how that's working? How that's working? Who don't need no man?
I'm independent. I can do for myself.
Yeah, but why do you want to? Yeah, okay, you can drop a transmission. You can sandblast your house. But hell, do you want to?
No.
If somebody could get out there and drop this transmission for you and sandblast your house, why don't you go get your nails done? I'm not trying to reduce a woman to nothing else. Be all you can be. But damn, who don't need a man? That's a lie. What man don't need a woman? I tell you what, try to live without her. Try to live your life without women. This is some bullshit without women. If it wasn't for women, what would you? Aristotle Onassis said it best. He said if women did not exist, all the money in the world would have no meaning.
Need women.
Okay, now you said asking, hold on a second, let me pull myself back up here again. Asking how you felt about him on base level, if he'll get on a course correction or drive us deeper as further into a worse direction. Oh, I did miss that part of the comment because I didn't see that part. How did I feel about him on a base level? Who? You talking about KS? If he'll get on a course correction or drive us deeper as further into a worse direction. Which person are you referring to when you're asking me that? Oh, when you're talking about the replacement theory. So you're asking me about Trump. Are you on a base level if that's going to be a course correction? Okay. So I believe that this is going to be, in the short term, it's going to be hell, because it's going to negatively see, I had to stop and think about that because I had to look back up like 12 questions ago when you asked me about the because we're going to be talking about all the stuff that he's doing on Monday, tomorrow. You asked me about the replacement theory. So if the replacement theory was about Donald Trump and you're asking me about, I typed out his name, but YouTube deletes his name. Oh yeah. See, so you got to be careful with what you do on YouTube, because YouTube is not First Amendment friendly. YouTube is not First Amendment friendly. I can barely get away with saying some stuff. When we start talking about some conversations, the whole channel start acting up. You start seeing the frames drop and all the pixelations, and then the screen go black, and we come back, and whoever's still here, we could pick the conversation back up. But they definitely try to disrupt the feed when we start talking about certain things. But to be honest, with the fact is, some of the things that he's doing, I can't say that it's specifically going to correct a course, but what I can say is that it is going to change the direction that we are going in, because in our country, the United States is $33 trillion in debt when we're giving away a lot of our wealth and taxing our people. And then we're being taxed by the same countries we're donating money to. And then when Donald Trump starts taxing those countries back, which ultimately eliminates taxation on import export, if I'm paying you the exact same amount of money that you're charging me to send stuff to your country. So if I got to pay you so much money to send stuff to your country, you're going to pay me that same money back to send stuff to my country. Since we're passing stuff back and forth, just eliminate that debt. And then we can all make extra money. That makes sense. But overall, yeah, I believe that it's going to send us in a more financially positive direction in probably 20 or 30 years. But in the first 5 or 10, it's going to be a worse direction, because the lower class, not the lower class. Let me change that scenario, because you're not lower class just because you're poor. The lower income families are going to suffer until the situation balances itself out, because as he's imposing more tariffs as of 3 days ago, those tariffs are going to hurt the lower class, or not the lower class. I'm sorry, I said it again. Not the lower class, the lower income families, because they still have a fixed quantity of income, but the cost of stuff is about to go up even more, which is going to shorten the amount of stuff that they can purchase. And the government is not providing financial assistance for those families that are hard up in that situation. So I think that is going to be a problem for the next 2 or 3 years. And if those tariffs stay where they are, and the countries continue to retaliate the way they are, it is less likely that there's going to be an improvement in the economy over the next 2 or 3 years. We usually have a recession every 8 years that lasts 2 to 4 years, and then we start seeing some positive stuff. Right now, as we're going into a recognized recession, now is a time for everybody to get their money together, start trying to live 60 to 80% of their standard of living, cut out all the stuff that they don't need financially, and then start investing into all of the stuff that is going to start getting dirt cheap right now because the economy is plummeting from the inflation. Once everything starts coming back, you're going to be living high on the hog, because when everything starts becoming too expensive for you to afford to pay for, that's when the economy will be back stable. You don't want to try to figure out a way to reinvest in the economy once the economy stabilizes. You want to invest in the economy while it's on a downward turn, so that you can get your foot in the door with little to nothing, so that once it gets back to where it was, you'll be getting the benefits from the increase. And if you're doing cash dividend stocks, you'll be getting the returns off of that in addition to, which will give you a subsidized income that you don't have to work for. So that was my thought on that. Strider said, do you think you could come up with a racially inflammatory word for each letter of the alphabet? If so, could you please list the words? Well, I would not be interested in coming up with racially inflammatory words because I, on this and that, talk to people about how we could improve ourselves and become better individuals. So higher valued individuals do not degrade or devalue themselves, as well as they do not degrade or devalue others. So I would encourage you not to come up with those types of words, which, ladies, that leads y'all to understand that I would encourage y'all not to degrade or devalue y'all selves by calling y'all selves bad bitches. I would say that's going to set you ladies back all the way to 1962. So you should probably cut that nonsense out. But yeah, that's kind of my position. He said, I understand that, to be honest, because the goal, I think, with having him as a president is a better long run than a good short run. That is exactly the goal. The long term is supposed to benefit the short term. So the short term is going to be the ends justifying the means, as opposed to having a good short 4 years. He's going to try to set the situation up where over the next 8 to 10 years, we're going to start seeing massive improvements over time, that even after he stops being president, the next president in line will take credit for the improved economy, even though it would have started being improved in 2025. We might reap the rewards of it in 2034, and whoever's the president in 2034 might get the credit for it. I'm still on the show in 2034 talking about how Donald Trump did it. The same way I'm talking about how Obama did a good job in 2008, giving all the low-income people an education. And now Harvard is allowing everybody under $200,000 a year to join Harvard, when before you couldn't do that. Now they're talking about some tuition free for under $200,000 a year income. I wish you motherfuckers would have said that shit back in 2013. I'd have went to Harvard. Now, one more again. I got my boy that drove in. That's going to be at the end of the show. I'm still going to throw it up there, though, because my man Usman just popped in. And I want to give a special shout out to Usman. He's here every night that he can be. Really appreciate that. He's got Gandalf. We must destroy the ring in Mordor. Xander, how about I go undercover, destabilize the Ark economy with tariffs, and create democracy there. That's the goal. I'm gonna distract them with my flash. Special shout out to Usman. This is also another one of our higher ground versions. And then he said, I heard the ARCs have oil too. Look, if you guys invest in oil while this stuff is going on, y'all gonna make y'all some money. Oil, plastic, Bitcoin, REITs, real estate investment trusts. If y'all invest in them right now, y'all gonna make y'all some money. And if you go through my channel and type in those things, y'all are going to be able to find different areas where I talked about all of that stuff. If y'all invest in some of the precious metals that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, y'all will be able to see, like, there's some places where y'all can put y'all money and y'all be like, dang, it's improving. Strider said, good answer. I was just testing you to make sure you weren't a big, bad racist person. Oh, well, racism in my ideology doesn't really exist as much as social classism. So people aren't going to treat people bad because of the color of their skin as much as they're going to treat each other poorly because some people are poor and some people are not poor. So you end up experiencing racist behavior in a social classism environment when they put a price tag on an establishment's resources that you can't afford. They make it exclusive so that poor people can't afford it. So instead of saying you can't have it because of the color of your skin, you can't have it because you're poor. So for example, think about 5-star restaurants, $150, $200 a plate. Poor people can't afford that. Poor people need to feed all of the kids, the husband, the wife with that $100. So they're trying to get like 15 plates for $100. So you'll see a family of 5 or 6 at the Golden Corral, but you won't see a family of 5 or 6 at a restaurant that's charging $100 a plate. They don't even have a kids menu at a restaurant that's charging $100 a plate. You know, they have dress codes in certain places where they're not going to say you can't come in because of the color of your skin. You're not going to come in because of the clothes that you're wearing. So they're not going to turn away a suit and tie. That's above the dress code, if not the dress code. So they can't turn you away on that. But if you're going somewhere and you got your pants hanging off your behind with your long white tee and your bandana hanging out your back pocket with your J's on, they'll tell you that you can't come in because that's outside the dress code. They're not going to tell you not to come in because of the color of your skin. They're going to tell you not to come in because you look like the riffraff that will shoot up the club. So the fact is that you don't have to worry about the racist person. Like, take police officers. Police officers ain't always mistreating people just because they're racist. They're treating people like shit because they can't afford their own personal lawyer to defend themselves in court. They're treating you like shit because you're poor in a high crime neighborhood, and they were taught to react beforehand, which is a predisposition. It is stereotyping, but it's not racial stereotyping. It's poor judgment because they're assuming that you're going to act out of control because the last 12 people they pulled over acted out of control. So they're going to walk up on you with their gun drawn because that's what happens in this neighborhood. But notice, if you go to a neighborhood where there isn't that much crime, the police officers will talk to you with the utmost respect, have a whole conversation with you, probably even give you a warning and give you tips and tricks on how not to have them pull you over a second time. The attitude of the officer is based on the environment that they're in. So it's still social classism. It's not really all that racism. Now, can I say that they'll mistreat you worse than the next person because of the color of your skin? That probably could happen, but that's more often than not going to happen from somebody that is in their late 70s, early 80s, who grew up in segregation and before segregation. Those individuals that are in their 50s and below that did not experience that, don't know nothing about that, are not trying to hold you responsible for something that the ancestors went through. And only low-class, bitter people are going to be trying to start fights with strangers because of something that their great-great-great-great-grandmother then gone through. Because I don't see no Jews treating Germans like garbage because of the Holocaust. So why or minorities treating non-minorities like garbage just because of the color of their skin. That's like reverse racism. But we're all going to band together as Americans and treat Mexicans like garbage because they're not American. That you didn't like being singled out when it was happening to you. So why are you singling out somebody else? You're not even supposed to condone that. You're supposed to put a stop to it so that it doesn't happen to anybody, not because you don't want it to happen to you. When we was in high school and in middle school and stuff, you beat up the bully so that the bully wouldn't bully anybody. You didn't just join the bully and start bullying somebody else so that you could stop being bullied. That's not how that works. You put a stop to bullying by kicking the bully's ass, and then nobody's bullying nobody. We're all going to show each other with respect. Twister said gold is king. Gold is one of them, but gold is not the highest one out there. It has doubled in value in the last 10 years, but gold is not the highest one out there. That's right. Bayside golf clubs, they have a specific golf attire that you're supposed to wear there. So you can't even say that you're going to go to the golf course with suits and ties and think that you're going to walk through the golf course with suits and ties. You can go there with some slacks and a polo shirt and a sweater vest on, but there is a golf attire. If you're not wearing that golf attire and you're not FBI, CIA, or the police officer, they're not going to let you in. It's a members only scenario, and the fees to be a member is so high, like the American Express card, which is $650 a year, which averages out to about $35, $40 a month premiums to use the card. But it's a freaking $250,000 to $500,000 credit card. I ain't got no problem with paying $45 a month for a $500,000 line of credit. But some people can't afford that. And that's the reason why it's becoming more exclusive, because only people of financial status can afford to pay the monthly premiums. It's the cost of doing business, because most people who are getting those credit cards are getting those credit cards under an LLC or a C corporation, where they can write off bank fees, and credit cards are bank fees, and those fees are written off on their tax return. So who cares if I'm paying $45 a month for this credit card if I'm making the $45 a month to pay on that credit card, and now I don't have to give that $650 a year to the US government because I gave it to the bank to utilize that credit card. That's the difference between financially poor and financially stable individuals. So you got to think about that mindset as well. He said, true, it's more of a caste system than race these days. Oh yeah. It is definitely more of a caste system. North Side Milwaukee was and is the most incarcerated area in the nation. See, I gotta update my prescription, because these bad boys is like they're 2 years old now, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's about the money, Bayside. It's about the money. Let's dive into another one, because this lady that's about to pop up, she got some sense on her. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this one. I want y'all to listen to this one.
Men don't need women. Women need men. Men could survive without women. If all the women disappeared tomorrow, men would be fine outside of reproduction. If tomorrow they made artificial wombs, what would they need a woman for?
Now you see this female right here?
Men or women?
We're going to talk about this
men
female
built
real
the
quick.
world. All the hard jobs are done by men. If men disappeared tomorrow, society would collapse. Men built the world that we complain about.
Arguably, one of the driving forces for men doing what they do is women.
What I'm saying is men could survive without women. Because men can be alone, women can't. Women are social beings, and men don't.
Nah.
You don't see women going out to
We're gonna go back.
That's a man thing.
Real quick, before we go on to the next one, we're gonna go back real quick. I want y'all to pay attention to this right here. Hold up. Come on now. Get yourself together. Nah, that's Steve. We don't want to see Steve. Right here. Now, y'all see this female sitting here. We about to talk about this shit right here. I actually need to get Pearl to get on this show one day when we doing one of these. I gotta collab with her one day, because she be saying some of the most effective things that I just wanted to be said on my channel while I'm here. He said Pearl has some good points, but behind the veil, I think she's a grifter, to be honest. I don't know. A lot of people do what they do for the views. They don't necessarily have to believe what they say. They just say it to get the views. But a lot of the time, some of the people actually stand by the things that they say. I'm on the surface of the scenario and I'm agreeing with some of the stuff that she says, most of the things that she say, because it makes sense when she's saying it. But what I want to point out real quick, you see the big girl in the green dress. I want y'all to take a look at that shit real quick. Now, this is why men tell women how to dress. Her skirt is too short. It don't matter what her size is. Her skirt is too short. Her and the woman sitting next to her should have something that goes below them knees so that their area there, their shadow is covered. If it wasn't for the camera being slightly lower, 30 degrees southeast, where we would have had a whole panty shot, because she is wearing that tight behind skirt that is above her kneecap, probably halfway down her thigh, talking about some I look sexy. That skirt got all of her private out. Her class is gone in this one shot. All of her value is out the window in this one shot. Now, while women necessarily with class should not cross their legs indistinguishably, it's actually more appropriate that Pearl got her legs crossed, knowing that the camera is that damn low, so that hers ain't exposed. So when a man tells a woman, well, I don't think that you should wear that, it's a little bit too short, I don't think you should wear that, it's a little bit too tight. If it's so tight on you that when you walk, it rides up, you got to keep adjusting yourself and pulling your clothes down, I don't think that you should wear that. A woman is supposed to look at that and say, okay, he values my integrity, he values my dignity, he values my well-being. I'm going to change my outfit to something that he's more approved of, because I don't want to look bad in public. And if he think that it looked bad, other people gonna think it looked bad too. But that's not how women analyze the situation. T. Miser says, I think some things she says she believes, but some things she digs deep into grifting points, in my opinion. Well, I don't follow 100% of the time all of the stuff that she's got going on. So I don't know if she's ever grifted a point or manifested a false sense of truth just to make a topic make sense to her, or for some reason because it doesn't benefit her to have all of the women disagree with her. But controversy gets you more views than agreements. So, to have a bunch of naysayers tell her that she's wrong, which it happens less to a woman to be told that she's wrong by other women. But when a man starts talking, all the women thumbs down the podcast and slide. So it's a little bit different than for her to do it. But most of the stuff that she does piece together that I've seen, it makes sense whether she believes it or not. And while she may manifest a good show based on facts, the same way I produce a show that's solely based on facts, and then my opinions are based off of the facts that I've obtained, and my logic manifests a whole nother level of understanding of this situation. I believe everything that I'm talking about. So if she doesn't believe what she's talking about, then I would have to ask some questions. But at the same time, I believe that, when she does come across with some stuff that makes some sense, I'm willing to type on that. Myron Gaines, is that the bro with all of the chicks that's sitting at the table that is saying ridiculous stuff, and then he comes out of nowhere and he enlightens them with a perspective where he flips the script, and then everybody is sitting there looking stupid? Because if that's the same Myron, I've seen him. he's actually sent me a message one time talking to me about some crypto. So I haven't gotten back to him yet. Well, at least somebody with his face did that. He said basically yes. Yeah, I've seen him. Now, I understand why he talks to the women the way he talks to them, but I don't agree with the way he talks to them. Fresh and Fit. Now I'm familiar with Fresh and Fit. He's also part of the Red Pill. He's also part of the Red Pill, but the Red Pill podcast. So you can see both of those on there. So, but yeah, I'm familiar with him. And I have seen he quit YouTube because of the censorship stuff. They demonetized him on YouTube. So he only shows the free version of his show on YouTube, and he has moved on to Rumble and other places where he can get paid per view because he's doing this for the money. Do you know Nick Fruentus too? Not familiar with Nick. I probably would remember him when I see him. Yeah, Rumble. Yeah. So like I said, he reached out to me about some crypto stuff. I haven't gotten back to him yet. But the thing is like he calls them stupid bitches and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's I would not have made those types of comments, but outside of how he talks to them, the concepts that he puts out makes a lot of sense. He comes from a position of alpha male perspective, almost like Andrew Tate, and him and Andrew Tate both almost got blacklisted together. But they come from this ultra alpha male perspective. I'm more of a Sigma perspective because I'm not trying to fight to be on top. I'm just trying to get mines. And if I'm going to get me a good girl that's going to get mines with me, then we're going to have that. But at the same time, if she's not going to fall in line, I'm not going to waste my time. So there's a dynamic there that not too many people get on. Now, the women will disagree with him, but they're not disagreeing with him because he's wrong. They're disagreeing with him because they don't like his delivery. When I come from a format of uniformity, I don't agree with I don't agree with the dynamic of the situation that we're in. And I'm explaining why I don't agree with the dynamic of the situation that we're in, specifically because it doesn't benefit both of us. So every role has its benefits, and every role has its responsibilities. Every role has its pluses and minuses, and exclusive to the role are perks. And a person can't dive into that role just to get the perks and then leave the responsibility in that same role for somebody else, and then dive into another role for all the perks, where you're only in this position when you're benefiting, but when it's no longer beneficial to you, you switch out. That's not good. I explain when I talk about these dynamics with women, I explain how if you look at it from the other side, if I was in your shoes and you were in my shoes, you would say that it ain't fair to you that you got to take on the responsibilities that you're expecting me to take on. So there's got to be a fair trade. The fair trade that what I want from you doesn't cost you money, but what you want from me costs me money. So the stuff that you're getting from me will cost you the effort that you're giving to me. That's a symbiotic relationship, which brings us back to that conversation that the women are working for the men. Because and it's never a scenario. That's not never. There's very few times that it's a scenario where a woman is going to be the breadwinner in the authoritarian situation and being respectful to her man at the same time. Women have stopped finding men with potential and building them up. They stopped doing that in the 70s and 80s. The women now ain't got no time to raise no man. But if you find a man with potential and you build him up, everything that he got belonged to you because you helped him get that. If you wait until he's the final product at 45, 50 years old, his success was made by himself And now in order for you to get his wealth, you have to earn it from him because you did not help him build it. And that means now men who have to make themselves successful, which takes 2/3 or 3/4 of their life to get that success, have to hold a higher standard so that they know that they're getting a woman of value, because they know that she's only here because of his stuff. Because if it wasn't for the fact that he had this stuff, she would not entertain him. And since he knows that she's only here for this stuff, he has to make sure that he can benefit from her presence with something more than just sex. That's the dynamic that is a little bit jaded that people haven't been paying attention to. So let me go ahead and get us back in there with the other one.
Because men can be alone, women can't. Women are social beings, and men don't. You don't see women going out to the woods and just roughing it. That's a man thing.
Dead ass look a man straight in the face and tell him that him paying all the bills and allowing her to stay home and not work is not good enough. We'll say stupid shit like, just because you worked all day don't mean that you can come home and not help me with the chores. It will be dead ass serious. Like, bitch, I hope both sides of your pillow is hot as fuck every single night. Because pretty much what you're saying to these men is that, hey, I know you work like 8, 10, 12-hour shifts. You might even work 2 jobs in order to fully provide and allow me to be able to stay home. And I know you worked outside in the scorching heat or the freezing cold or in an office with motherfuckers that you can't stand and want to punch in the face on a daily basis, but you can't do that because then where would we live? And I know that you paid the mortgage and the car payments and the insurance and the phone bill and the internet, and you pay for the groceries and all that. I got that. And I know that you miss out on spending time with our kids, and there's a lot of things that you probably miss, like their first steps or their first words, because you were at work. But I had to clean the house, even though I know I was able to do it at my own pace, and I got to sit down and take a break whenever the fuck I felt like it, because I don't have a supervisor here telling me how fast I need to work. But I also had to fold the laundry, even though I know that I was able to do it in front of the TV while I watched the Kardashians. But when you get home, I still want you to wash the dishes and help me do all the other shit around the house. Even though you're 100% taking care of your responsibilities in this relationship, I still want you to take care of some of mine. That's literally what y'all are saying to these men. And fellas, I don't understand how y'all don't crash the fuck out. Because the way I would look her straight in her face and be like, ho, fuck you and them dishes. Listen to me. Stop letting these women manipulate you into thinking that in order for you to be considered a good man, you have to do your part and her part. You're taking all of the financial burdens and responsibilities off of her shoulders, and she won't take nothing off of yours? Baby, no. Leave that bitch right where she at.
Yeah, that is the exact same craziness we was talking about. Now, real quick, Bayside said that drives me crazy. A man will support his woman when she has to go to school, but once she gets the job, she'll leave the man, whereas men do the opposite. You know, and Tim Iser says, Bayside, I'm in the mix right now with the woman right now on what you said. Now, y'all know the funny thing about it is that if a woman wants to better her career, she expects the man to invest in her career choice. So if she needs to go to college to get a better career, he's supposed to pay for the standard of living and sometimes invest in her college education. If she needs to focus on her career, he's supposed to put more effort into the relationship so that she could be successful on her job. If he has connections in her career choice so that he can help her get the promotion, he's supposed to use his connections to help her get the promotion. So women want a man to help the woman further her career choice. But where the fuck did it change where she was not supposed to do the same thing for him? Because originally she was supposed to only have the career that subsidizes the household that the man wasn't bringing enough to. She was supposed to be subsidizing it. If he didn't have enough, she was supposed to be bringing in the rest. But if he brought in enough, she's supposed to do what it takes to make sure that he's taken care of so that he can bring it in. That doesn't mean she can't go get a job. That don't mean she can't go get a hustle. That don't mean that she can't go make her own ends. But she not spending her ends on the household. She not spending her ends on the money, on the man. She's spending her ends on herself. So since she's supposed to be taking care of herself and maybe the kids, he's taking care of her and the kids and the house, then at the end of the day, she don't need no Fortune 500 join a company, but in order for her to be considered a valuable woman to herself, she has to behave like a masculine man. So she's going to aim for being better than her husband, and then she's going to leave her husband for a man that's better than her, because no woman has the mentality that they're going to want a man that has less resources than her. Even if you go to a woman in another country, the women in the other countries will take a man from America because the other countries are 30% the standard of living of America. So a $30,000 a year man in America is a high value man in another country, because in the other country, $30,000 is a lot of money. $50,000 is a lot of money. America is expensive. So with inflation, therefore, $50,000 ain't enough in America for one person. So $50,000 ain't enough in America for two people, depending on what city and state you live in. But in other countries, $12,000, $8,000 a year in Japan, $12,000 in the Philippines. You can do good if you were making $24,000 a year in the Philippines. You're doing damn good if you're making $24,000 a year in Japan. You're doing damn good if you're making $30,000 a year in China or South Korea. But in America, you making $35,000 a year, you right there at the cusp of getting food stamps. Section 8 about to hook you up because you don't make enough money. But the thing here in America is that women are not trying to be a partner. Women are trying to take over. This is a hostile takeover. She's going to use sex to take over the man's entire empire. But she's not going to manage the empire. Back in the 60s and 70s, the man used to bring his check home and give it to his wife and let her take care of the household. Back in the 30s, the women used to bring their money home and give it to the man and let the man take care of the household, even though the man went to work and stuff. So the women were secretaries and teachers and babysitters and housekeepers and shit, and they would bring their money back and give it to their man. Then when the women started getting bank accounts and everything like that, the men started coming back home from work because they worked two jobs, and they would give their money to their wife, and their wife would take care of everything. She would save and balance the budget, and now they can go buy a car, and now they can buy a new suit, and now they can pay for the kids' tuition and all this stuff. Then sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, the women didn't want that responsibility anymore when Beyonce talking about some, can you pay my bills? And now all of a sudden it ain't tricking if you got it. And now the man has to balance the budget, take care of the household, go to work two jobs, come back, rub her feet, run her some bath water because all she did was watch TV and eat popcorn and shit. Then he's going to make the bed, take care of the kids, pay the nanny, pay the housekeeper, and then he got to find a way to get 2 hours of sleep, get up and go back out there and do that shit all over again. It's crazy. And they're not knowing. He said, how old are you anyway? I'm in my 40s. That's how that middle-aged podcast for middle-aged individuals. Actually, 52% of the channel is between 25 and 45. He said 35,000 if you're lucky. Yeah, 35,000 if you're lucky. More like 30,000. That depending on what you're getting, because right now in certain states they're allowing teachers to make 55,000 a year, but they just passed that law last year. Before that, you were making 35 to 40,000 a year as a teacher. 42,000 a year is what the women were making. Nurses, 42 to 45,000 a year. They're going to college 2 to 4 years of college so that they can be a nurse, and they're only making 40,000 a year. But if you went to college and got you a tech degree, an engineer degree, you would be working with Elon Musk, where everybody over there is making a few $100,000 a year. So the career choice is the reason why there's a wage gap. It's not because you're not getting paid enough because you're a woman. You're not getting paid enough because you're getting easy remedial jobs. And the people who are trying to get that money, they're grinding out for the dangerous backbreaking labor because that's the ones that's paying more money. They're either going to pay you for your level of intelligence, or they're going to pay you for your physical skills, your physical strengths. Basically, I said Denzel had a movie, Francis. He gave his earnings to his wife. Yep. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. Check some of these other ones out because we got a few more that we going through, and then 45 minutes. He said nurses for 40,000 is gross, man. No way unless you're in the sticks. No, that's serious. Nurses are 40,000. They're not in the sticks. 40,000, 45,000 nurses. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have women that work as nurses making less money than managers at McDonald's. Yes, sir. No, sir. Registered nurses are guaranteed $60,000 a year. RNs are guaranteed $60,000 a year, and not everybody is an RN. The person that takes your blood and types your name into the computer to put you in line so that you can sit in the lobby for 2 hours for the RN to come get you, that person is making $40,000, $45,000 a year. The registered nurse is making $60,000. The nurse who is not a registered nurse is not making 60, and not every nurse in the hospital is a registered nurse. All the nurses that are not registered work under the registered nurse. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about, RNs. No, but that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You can go to a community college and do two to 4 years at a community college and be just a nurse. That ain't no RN. That's a difference. They got two different levels of nurse. They got the unregistered nurse and the registered nurse. The unregistered nurse still requires you to go to college, and then you still got to get the CNAs. They went to college for 2 to 4 years, and they coming out and they working at the local hospital, and they changing sheets and changing bedpans and doing paperwork, and they making minimum wage for that shit. But they're a nurse. Some of them, the CNAs, are working in the nursing homes and the retirement homes, and they're making $50,000, $55,000 a year. But you can make $72,000 at a Waffle House. You can make $65,000 at a McDonald's, just working the overnight shift. You could be a shift manager, not even a store manager, and work the overnight shift. You could be making $55,000 to $65,000 at a Burger King or a Wendy's or a Taco Bell. Just be the night shift manager. Just be the guy that closes the doors. So a nurse can go to college and make the same amount of money or less than a dropout working at a fast food restaurant overnight, where the nurse would be working overnight too. Think about that. Basically, I said so much abuse today towards nurses who we need to protect nurses. Man, if it wasn't for them nurses, the patients would die after the doctor's finished with them. Y'all supposed to have more respect for the nurse. If you cuss out the doctor, you don't cuss out the nurse. You're supposed to show that nurse love, bro. Bro, you can get an RN for 2 years. Bro, you got folks that be in college for 4 years trying to get a 2-year degree, because a lot of the dropouts got to get their prerequisites in before they take their core. Nurses are overworked and underpaid. You got to understand, just because it's labeled 2 years because it's a 60 credit degree don't mean it is 2 years, bro. It's not just going to be 2 years. I've been to college. I was in college for 8 years. I ended up with 3 degrees out of that situation. And the primary reason why I went took the whole 8 years. But all the other degrees that I picked up along the way was because I had enough time to get those too. Microbiology. So the fact is that, yeah, what's on the label is not what it really is. You got to think about it's 150% completion time for individuals that don't change their majors. So if it's a 2-year degree, they're guaranteeing you 3 years to complete it. If you change your major to get in that, you're looking at also however much time you was in college plus however much time you need now since you changed your degree to nursing from something else. And a lot of times these kids go to college because they don't know what else to do, and their parents is telling them to go. And then when they get into college, they realize that they don't want to do what they're doing, and then they change their majors. So you got some folks in there 2 to 5 years getting a nursing degree, not because they went in there for the nursing degree originally, but because shit happened in college, and now they're switching up and they're ended up in a nursing degree. But it's still going to take you 150% of the time when they start to get that 2-year degree. It's going to take you 2.5, 3 years. Usman said, however, there's a statistic out there that nurses are extremely promiscuous. Oh, yeah, they out there. Yeah, they out there. He said, Xander is a boss for real. Definitely, bro. Definitely. Trying to bag a doctor takes effort. bro, the nurses is out there bad. He has some nurses that got fired. He has one of the nurses in the prison that was knocking it back with the inmate. These females be doing it. As I said, 3 degrees, must respect family. Yes, sir. It's microbiology, computer technology, and communication and health. So I got a communication degree, a microbiology degree, and a technology degree in 8 years. He said my pops did his prerequisites plus the 2 years for RN. So I understand what you mean. Yeah. What the prerequisites is the part that they don't tell anybody about. They only tell you about the core classes. The core classes have a specific quantity of 2 years to do. Everything you need to qualify to get that core class, you got to take that first. And that's extra time. That's not up there. They don't tell you about that. LOL, get freaky with the doctor. He ain't right. Do you want to hear the crazy? Do you want to hear a crazy but funny prison story? Go ahead, tell me a crazy but funny prison story while I get through a couple of these. That way we out of here on time, because I do got to want to not.
Very selfish today, because all we do is tell men like what we want, what we feel, and even though we don't like how they think, we've never even tried to accept the way that they think or learn the way that they think.
Women have no clue of what men want because y'all run around with lashes, fake hair, all this bullshit, and you can ask 100 men and 98 of them will say, I want a natural woman. But for some reason, y'all in competition with each other. Y'all think that natural beauty is ugly. Y'all done got away from being feminine. Y'all not even confident. I FaceTime a woman in the morning, she got her shit to the ceiling because she don't want to let me see her with her natural face. You that embarrassed of yourself? Damn. That's what it is. You're not happy with yourself. It ain't got nothing to do with us. Who are y'all selling yourselves to, the women or the men? Because we the ones that got to marry your ass. So how about doing what I like? The things that we want are free. I promise you. They are free. But for some reason, when you ask a woman, what do you bring to the table? The first thing come out their mouth is something we don't care about, which is your job. Your job. The first thing a woman say, I pay my own bills, I got my own car, I got my own crib. But congratulations, you're an adult. Women have no clue.
Women.
And that right there, that's real. So that first woman that just came up there, that was a short. She was like 15 seconds. She said it straight up. She claimed that, women don't care what a man thinks, but they never think to figure out what a man thinks and then understand how the man thinks. So when women make themselves, they're not making themselves for the man. They're making themselves for the women that they want to be idolized by and respected by and praised by. They're not even making themselves for themselves. They're saying that they're making themselves for themselves, but they're making themselves for the praise from other women. Because what men want, the women don't want to be that. What men need, the women don't want to do that. But what women will promote and support and praise, that's what other women ascribe to be. They chase negative attention because it's easier to get negative attention than it is to get positive attention. To get positive praise from your man by being his partner is harder than getting negative praise from a woman that's going to encourage you to destroy your relationship with your man. So while Usman comes up with that interesting prison story, there it is. He said a man in America identified as a woman, so they let him go to the female prison. Some weeks later, female inmates suddenly started to get pregnant. Well, talk about how they promoted that scenario where a man changed himself to a woman and then ran over 2 people, got off on it, and now they're talking about that person is the world's greatest woman, was born a man. Crazy. Another woman that used to be a dude that now, Donald Trump got her running the prisons. Like the word is out there bad. You got one of the reasons why they're like, hey, we need to cut this nonsense out. We're not telling you not to not to like the same sex and all this other stuff. What we're saying is that you don't have to go so far as to change the way you look to go. If you're a dude and you like dudes, you should not go the extra mile to change yourself to look like a female so that you'll be readily accepted by dudes. Why not put yourself in a situation where you're a dude and he's a dude and the two of you are doing what you do without having to trick people into believing that you are a dude because you feel like you're not a dude, because you think like you're not a dude, stuff to that effect. That's I agree with that concept. Like, you should not do that. Because that'll get you into some trouble. He's at 37. He's in there. D's with chicks. Chicks with D's. You're right. Mr. Satellite diving back in one more time tonight. Now, this next chick, she about to go ham because she's gonna ratify what we just finished talking about. Take a listen to this.
Can tell you everything that they want in a man, but they don't even know what a man is and what he really entails. And to be honest, a lot of women don't even know what being a woman is and what being a woman entails. If you ask a woman about being a woman, she will tell you how she dressed. She will tell you how she sways her hips. She would tell you adult skills like cooking and cleaning. They be on TikTok talking about, I don't need no man. I could do bad all by myself. There are a lot of women who are singing that tune out of bitterness. They're bitter. They're mad because the man that they want to choose is repeatedly showing them that he is not choosing them. They're mad that the people that they go after are not inherently attracted to them. So they become bitter, telling other women, oh, I don't need no man and y'all don't either. Because what they're low-key saying is, you don't need the man because you might have the opportunity to get with the man who didn't want me, and I don't want you to be happy because I'm miserable and I need company.
Bet that on everything, bro. That was facts. Like, when I seen that, so I went. Don't worry, we got this one and one more, and that's the one that you was looking for. So don't go nowhere, Bayside. This coming up is what we was about to get in on. But that right there, that is straight facts. The women that is promoting the stay single life, they're doing that because I'm single by choice. You're not single by choice. The man that you want don't want you, and you don't want the men that want you. So you're not single by choice, because if you wanted any man that would love, respect, appreciate you, value you, and grow with you, you would take the first man that offers to do it. The man that you want don't want you, and that's the reason why you're sitting over here single and alone and miserable, 40 cats. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell every woman, your neighbors, your friends, your kids, your grandkids, that they need to stay single with you, because if they stay single with you, the man that you wanted that don't want you can't get with them. Because y'all done seen on the show plenty of Sundays where we done gone over a story where this woman's boyfriend broke up with her and started dating her best friend, or broke up with her and started dating her sister, or dating her mom, or dating her cousin. A lot of these women that are not being the woman that a man wants, when a man finds the woman that he's looking for, he'll drop the woman that he got. Because if he's only going to be dedicated to one woman in a society that's not going to want to have more than one woman in there, that man is going to say, look, you're not what I wanted. I want her. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm just going to get rid of you, and I'm going to get with her. That way you're satisfied with, not being cheated on, and I'm satisfied with the woman that I want. Instead of the woman becoming the woman that a man wants, the woman will first devalue, degrade, and demoralize a man so that he will accept her for who she is. And the problem with that is that he is never happy. So the women's intuition only triggers when a woman knows that competition is about to take her man. So they say that women's intuition knows when a man is up to no good, but that's not the truth. The women's intuition knows that your failure as a woman is starting to be recognized by the man, and he's about to go find somebody else who's going to do better for him than what you're doing for him. So you need to go get him, not do better, and then stop him from replacing you, not do better. That's what women's intuition do. Because truth of the matter is that if women's intuition was like Spidey sense, a woman would always know what a man needs, and a man would never be unsatisfied. A man would never be unhappy. And if a man is never unsatisfied and a man is never unhappy, then a man is never going nowhere. So a man is more often than not going to cheat on a woman that he is not satisfied with, because she's not doing what he needs. She's doing what she wants. She's giving him what she thinks that a man should get based on what she's given to other men. She's not giving him what he needs. Each man is individually unique, the same way each woman is individually unique. A man can date 100 women in his life, and his 101st woman, he's going to ask her, what do you like? What do you not like? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? Where do you like to go for fun? What do you want me to do to make you happy? But a woman will never ask that. From the first man to the last man, she will never ask that question. And even though she doesn't ask that question, the man goes the extra mile and tell her, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I prefer for you to do for me. This is where I need help at. This is what I need you to do to make this relationship successful. Don't tell me what to do. You're not my daddy. And that's why they end up leaving you. The sex is good. The man doesn't want to be alone. He'll put up with that type of behavior until he find a woman that will yes sir him, that'll yes daddy him, that'll do what he asked her to do without arguing with him and talking back to him. That's when he's going to have a woman on the side, because a woman on the side is giving him the relationship that he needs. And the woman that he's stuck with is a woman that he's married to, the woman that if he divorces, he's got to give up half of his stuff. And that's one of the reasons why we end up in a situation where a man got a wife and a girlfriend on the side for 14 years out of the 20-year marriage, because the woman that was the wife wasn't doing her wifely duties for 14 years out of the 20-year marriage. Women don't want to understand that, accept that, or admit that. Usman said they don't need a man until there's a noise in the middle of the night coming from the kitchen. They don't need a man until a bill needs to be paid. They don't need a man until somebody needs to take them shopping. They don't need a man until they need some gas in their car. They don't need a man until they need to upgrade to that new iPhone 16. They don't need a man until they need that new Rolex watch. They don't need a man until they get that new Coach purse or that new Gucci and Prada bag. That's a Sephora clothing line. That's when they need a man. They don't need a man until they want some stuff that they can't afford. They don't need a man until they need a trip around the world or a vacation out of the country or some shit like that. They not trying to do it. Look at Usman. Girl, you don't even listen to your own daddy. In fact, who is your daddy? Is it your uncle or your neighbor? Because your daddy could be your mama brother. And if you're from the South, your daddy could be your granddaddy. Family tree does not fork. Girl, you need to check your lineage. Have mercy. Now let's listen to this one lady right here, because she got some facts that y'all gonna want to dive on as well.
How much, absolutely insane how much women expect from men that they're only dating. Men in the early dating stages do not owe you anything. Only thing a man owes you is connection, compatibility, a little bit of attention, but you're not his woman yet. Why does he have to pay your bills, pay you gifts, take you out on expensive dates? Prove that he can earn your love? That's absolutely wild how some women act in the early dating stages. Men don't owe you anything. They have other responsibilities, bills as well. However, if you're his woman, then he can spoil you. You should never expect it. I'm just saying, women have a convoluted idea of how dating should be and what dating actually is about. Absolutely wild. Absolutely insane. Men don't owe you anything.
Now that is the second bleach blonde that I was just sitting over here looking like ain't nothing natural blonde about that woman right there, because she got some brains on her. There was nothing ditzy about that one. That's the second time one of them came up here and said some stuff that the rest of these females ain't thinking about. Now notice that the even in the one where the dude was talking to the women and explaining to the women that the women don't know what men want. Notice that the overly aggressive woman was talking over the man, trying to validate the fact that she don't got to listen to that. Oh yeah, they be fine. Some of these girls out here be highly attractive. Not the one we're about to listen to, but some of the rest of them do. And the woman that was trying to out talk the man be trying to talk her way out of the fact that she messed up, because truth is, you know, the women are like, oh, well, the man always talk about what he do for a living, where his career, his car, his house, because that's what you want in a man. When a woman come up, or what a man don't want to hear is what you do for a living and how much smarts you got. We don't care about that. We don't benefit from your career choice, because it is not culturally appropriate for a man to ask his woman for money, and it's not culturally appropriate for a man to ask a girl that he's dating for money, or a girl that he has not yet started dating for money. That is not your girlfriend. You should not be asking her for money. And if you're in a committed relationship with her, you should not have to ask her for money. She should offer it to you if she see that the shit ain't right. You should not have to say, baby, I can't afford it, let me get some. She should be able to say, oh shit, he running low. Let me throw something back since he been spending all this money on me. I bled his pockets too dry. Let me give some back. Just like when you withdraw some money out your bank account and you see an automatic direct deposit about to come through and you don't want that charge to be overdrawn, what you do? Put some cash back in the bank so that transaction clear, right? Why can't women do that in their relationship with their man? You see that he just spent all his money on you. Why don't you put some money on him? That way he can make sure that the shit meets so that he ain't got to go to Amscot and borrow some money, or go to Western Union and borrow some money, or go for the next cash advance check cash and place and borrow some money. Go to Walmart and borrow some money because he done spent all his money on you. I've been saying since the gate that you should not be paying for the first date. You don't know if she's valuable or not. She should be showing you how valuable she is, which means that she should be paying for the date, or y'all should be doing something for free. Once you see her value, then you start putting money on the table. When you commit to her value, that's when you start putting money on the table. If a woman is not challenged to put her value on the table before you start putting your money on the table, she will take all the money off the table and keep walking. But she will never come back and put value on the table, and she will never come back and double down on your money. Not one woman from low value to moderate value women will show up, see a man with potential, take a stack of cash from him and bring him back double. Take a stack of cash from him and bring him back 1.5. It's never going to happen. You see these lower value, moderate value women, they're going to take his money as a gift and walk away with it and not say nothing about it. If they give you a thank you, that's all you're going to get. They're not going to take what you give them and say, okay, you did for me, I'm going to do for you. If they buy you something, a woman that really care about you, you give her $1,000 and she'll go shopping for you. A higher value woman will go invest that money and then take the interest off of that money and still go shopping for you, where she still got the residuals coming back on a regular basis instead of just spending the principal. But the fact is that if you give a woman a stack of cash and she take that stack of cash and go spend it on herself, she don't give a shit about you. Because she's not going to take a stack of cash out of her own pocket and give it to you. Because what does a man want that costs money? I can't think of anything that a man want that costs money. Unless it's him paying for it to get it. Usman said, lady number one, I want 6 feet, 6-pack, 6 figures, 6-gear car, and a 6-bedroom house because I deserve it. Xander, would you like to spend 6 nights in the insane asylum too? He said Usman, undeserved privilege. Bro, that is reckless undeserved privilege. That's how they be behaving. They want a 6-figure, 7-figure man. These women are not 6-figure, 7-figure women. These are not $100,000 a year women talking about something. They want $100,000 a year man. These are $40,000 and $50,000 and $60,000 women talking about something. They want a man that make way more money than them. But I done already showed you guys the numbers on the show where a $55,000 a year man can get with a $60,000 a year woman. They living a $70,000 a year lifestyle. They still got at least $40,000 that they can invest. They'll make themselves a millionaire inside of 5 years in their relationship. Just invest in that money and just reinvest in the interest and the principles. They would not have to be broke forever. A 5 or 10 year plan where you putting away 40 grand at a time, $100 would take you 47 years to make a millionaire. $40,000, you wouldn't take that long to get to a millionaire. A few years. But a few years, if you're getting 15 to 20% interest back on all of your investments, a few years on $1 million, you'd be making $200,000 a year on your interest payments alone. So if you wanted $100,000 a year lifestyle or $150,000 a year lifestyle, instead of wanting that $150,000 a year lifestyle to come directly from the pocket of the man, why not change your mentality to work with that man to build $100,000 or $200,000 a year lifestyle so that y'all can both quit working and live off of y'all's success, off the success of y'all relationship? Why not do that instead of making it the man's responsibility? And then it ain't no problem with it being the man's responsibility. But if it's the man's responsibility to bring you a $200,000 a year lifestyle, don't that mean that you've got to submit and obey? Because in order for you to get a $200,000 lifestyle, ma'am, you got to work for that shit. That requires you to say and do things like, yes, sir, sit down, shut up, and wait until you are called. Because at the end of the day, you are not going to get with a rich man and not know your place. And your place is not an undervalued place. Your place is a position where you did not earn this wealth. You did not earn these royalties, and you must earn it now with your behavior, because you can't cash in to a $200,000 profit. You have to earn that. The same way you're not going to cash in on your multi-million-dollar job that you're working for. You got to earn a paycheck from them. You got to earn an allowance from your boyfriend or your husband. Usman said, lady number 2, don't go talking to my friend like that. She knows her worth. Xander, shit. Now I have to see if the insane asylum do double bookings. Take one and take the other 2. We gonna lock them both up. Now check this one out.
Women do not have to be nice to you.
I just wanted to slap the taste out
Women can be
this
rude
one.
to you. They don't owe you anything. They don't owe you their kindness. They don't owe you their friendship. They don't owe you an explanation. They don't owe you anything.
Hold on. This the one that you wanted to see, Bayside. Now that first woman right there, she wasn't even a 3. And she's sitting over here talking about the women don't owe men respect. First of all, that's called mutual respect. You respect a man in public, even if he's not your man, because that man, out of respect for you having a pulse, will put his life on the line to protect you, and you don't got to be his woman. So you're supposed to respect all men, even if it's not your man, because when you are in trouble, lady, you are going to ask a man to help you, whether he's changing your tire, jumping off your car, getting into a street fight, recovering your purse, keeping you from getting your ass whooped. That is the full totality of that situation. And I'm going to be real with you. It makes absolutely no sense that women believe that they can disrespect men because they are entitled to disrespect men. I'm not saying that a man that did you wrong don't deserve to be hit with that Usher and that R. Kelly. All I'm saying is that a man that ain't did you nothing yet should not be treated like shit. He should be treated like the second things closest to God, but until he fuck up. You should treat him like Solomon until he recognizes a mistake. Because if not, y'all not gonna find a good man. Because a good man gonna see how you're treating other men and figure you're gonna treat him that way, and that's gonna make them not want to mess with you. You will destroy future opportunities by the way you acting today. Your past will make your future miserable. Women don't think about that. Nah, Bayside, this the woman that I was telling you about. Now, the woman on the left, she did a remix of what the woman on the right said. The woman on the right said the recklessness. The woman on the left responded to my message. I'm going to show you all of it real quick. So check this stuff out.
You should not be laying down with a man that you can't even ask for some money. Don't just be adding to your body count. Pockets on feather, the kitty on desert. If he's not adding to your life in any way, next caller.
Now look at this right here. Y'all see that? Now I said, what does she bring to the table for all that man's money? Now this female gonna jump in and say, be a woman. Fuck that mean. Then she gonna hit it with and provide. Provide what? Because you want all the money. You ain't doing shit, right? Now she gonna come up with not just pootie tang, right? That's cool. But support. Support means that you got to follow instructions. They don't understand what they even trying to say. She trying to make it seem like she the shit on the stick. Gonna say, if I bring the table, can you bring the food and I'll cook it? Well, shit. I'm the one that's going to carry the fucking table because I'm a man. So I'm going to bring the table and I'm going to bring the food. And then what you going to do? You're going to cook the food? Nah, here she say, that's what I mean. Add to me as I would to you. But that's not what that other bitch said. The other bitch said, don't even talk to him if his pockets is empty. If he can't pay for the stuff that you have, if you can't ask him for a handful of cash every now and again, then don't even mess with him. Don't even mess with him. But notice that down the line, a fella say, well, that's selling it. Just let him know. That's the Riley theory. He said that's selling it. Just let him know the price up front. Don't hide the price tag. It go away smoother. I promise you. Now this other female gonna talk about some, not necessarily money, but when they're not your best friend, he ain't supposed to be your best friend. He's supposed to be your boyfriend or your husband. You need to stop using these men in the friend zone. Now she talk about some, he's supposed to support you. He's supposed to be your male best friend, supporting you like a husband, and then, you know, have your back. Now, yeah, they can agree with that, because as females, they're going to get the free treatment from the husband material without actually putting in the wife behavior that is supposed to support that husband treatment. And I'm sitting over here looking. I told you, I said, isn't that some reckless shit? She done came out of left field. he said, oh my God, nonsense. Yeah, this is extreme nonsense. And they had a bunch of people blow up on that one. I'm like, hold on, let me just get the ones right here from where I was talking. But Usman said, wait, if ladies want to get money from their date when things get physical, that's just, yep, exactly, prostitution with extra steps. That's the Raleigh theory. That's the Raleigh theory. That's exactly what that is. It's prostitution with extra steps. It's OnlyFans in person with extra steps involved. That's exactly what it is. Because the first of all, you seen at the beginning of the show, the women are saying that the men are supposed to give the women money and not expect physical contact after that. Now, the women are saying if the man is going to get physical contact, she got to get money from him. Now, how is it that I got to pay you regardless of if I get physical contact? But you don't got to give me physical contact. I still got to give you money. What kind of nonsense is that? That's like saying I can go to work, clock in, and go to sleep on the job and still collect the paycheck. I don't have to work when I go to work. I get paid for my presence. I don't get paid to do nothing. If I decide to work, you lucky. But I'm going to work this job for 25 years. What kind of shit? No boss is going to deal with that. They're going to fire your stupid ass. You think you're going to go to the job and you're going to get paid to be there and not do nothing to contribute to the situation? No, you're a burden. You're a liability. Liabilities get replaced. We're looking for assets. Every business is looking for an asset. Every man is looking for a partner, and partners are assets. But ironically, yet again, what you have is the lower value mentality speaking on undervalued behavior. And then you're looking at unrealistic expectations, putting a pressure on the average man to over excel with no reciprocation, which makes absolutely no goddamn sense. I told y'all, special shout out to Tonic Cloud. He's coming in. I guess he's trying to do a Red Pill podcast scenario. Let's see what he got going on. Special shout out to him. Tonic Cloud, first time tonight from Twitch. Special shout out to Twitch. This is not a Red Pill or a Blue Pill podcast. This is not a Red Pill or a Blue Pill podcast. Here on This and That, we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We make it a point to make it make sense. We put all of our effort into uniformity. We talk about being higher valued individuals by raising our expectations, as well as first person accountability, changing the way that we behave things. And we talk about business and finance, how to make money, save money, invest money, reinvest money, and not waste our money on the stupid behavior that we're talking about today. What happened today actually was ironic, because we were talking about it yesterday, because I came across it the day before, and I told the guys on the show yesterday that we were all going to come and go over some of this ridiculousness today, because on Sundays we do our questions and comments from the fans. So I said, well, let me go over some of the stuff that I had seen, because I had some questions and comments that I was going to bring up. But since I was going to play this video, I thought that it would have made more sense to throw down all of the other videos that I had seen that went in line with that. Oh yeah, I'm on my way out as well, because I do have to, I got 5 minutes left to wrap up the show, because it's going to be a 4-minute outro. Just Tonic, make sure that you like and subscribe, hit that follow button. We actually start at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock Florida time, 7 o'clock California time. and we're live 7 nights a week. So definitely swing back by tomorrow so that, and I'll follow you back. Definitely swing back by tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about all things business and politics and everything tomorrow. And you'll be able to see some other things that we do on the show. And you might actually really enjoy it. But today we just really had to get in on this one. We had to really get in on this one. Bayside said, good stuff, X. See y'all tomorrow. Gotta call it out. Peace. Oh, he got to call it quits. Peace. I appreciate you, Bayside. And special shout out to Usman, Tonic Cloud. Special shout out to Diddy and Miser and Mr. Satellite, as well as who was the other person that jumped in here earlier today? It was way earlier today. We had Diddy in here. I think that's all of y'all that came. Strider. I knew I was somebody else. Strider. Special shout out to all of y'all for coming in tonight. Jumping in onto the podcast. Special extra shout out to those of you on Twitch and Twitter, because you guys are also equally valuable on the show. We love to hear your insight on the show. Definitely make sure that you guys like and subscribe and come back. We're live 7 nights a week, same time of night. We typically try to give you guys at least 2 hours. We did 2.5 hours today. So if you tiptoe back in roughly 10:30 Central Standard Time tomorrow, you'll see us back live again tomorrow. Ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. 75% of y'all are fellas. I really appreciate y'all. It's a male podcast dedicated to the betterment of men. So I really appreciate you guys continuing to show that support. Thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not mounted We'll be right back.